Hey everyone, welcome back to Cliffhangers and Page Turners. Hope you've all had a decent week.
Yeah, hope things are going well out there.
We're diving back into another book today. And hey, if you're into gripping book discussions and, those wild plot twists we love talking about, definitely hit that subscribe button.
For sure. We drop new episodes every Friday on all the usual podcast platforms.
But remember, for the full back catalog, all the older episodes, you can only find those over on YouTube.
All right, good point.
So today, we are getting into The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig. And wow, this one's a ride.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a deep dive into horror, but also, trauma, really messed up friendships.
And maybe some terrible people, or at least people making terrible choices. Let's get into it, starting with how this whole thing kicks off. The Covenant, the lie, and that incredibly awkward reunion.
Okay, so the whole story starts because of this name, the Covenant. It's not just, hey, let's hang out.
No, definitely not. It's loaded. Nick sends this email, super vague, kind of alarming.
Right, invoking the Covenant specifically. Yeah. And that pulls the other four, Owen, Lore, Hamish, and Nick himself back together. But the reason he gives, well, it's not the real reason.
And Wendig, right off the bat, shows us how messed up this group dynamic is. Like, Owen, he's our entry point, kind of.
Yeah, and he is just steeped in anxiety, clinically. OCD, intense fears, flying is a nightmare for him.
And that BFRB, the body-focused repetitive behavior, constantly picking at his hands. It's such a clear visual for his internal state.
Totally. And he sees himself, and this is key, as just a shadow cast by Laura's light. That comparison tells you so much about their history.
Right. He puts Laura on this pedestal. She's the successful one, the hunter-killer drone, as Wendig puts it. She's got this whole vibrant, almost aggressively colorful aesthetic to fight the gray-brown greige awfulness of the world.
Which is interesting because even she isn't exactly solid. She seems tough, but the book tells us she bought this memory box partly because she was so conflicted about Owen. Like that quote, "I miss you, Owen. Fuck you, Owen."
Oof, yeah. It's described as a sucking and slurping resentment 69. Just graphic, but it captures that toxic codependency, doesn't it?
It really does. It's not a healed relationship. It's scar tissue, like you said.
So this covenant, what was it originally, before it got all twisted?
Well, it started in high school. They formed this pact, basically, for protection. Maddie, the fifth member, the one who's missing now, he kind of defined it.
He had that line, right, about bullies.
Yeah. They say you just gotta ignore a bully, but that's wrong. I say we take the fight to them. And they did. They protected Hamish from some serious bullying. It was this act of fierce loyalty.
But then Maddie disappeared near that first staircase, and whatever bond they had just fractured badly.
Exactly. So when Nick invokes the Covenant years later, he's calling on something broken, something tied to failure and loss.
Lore initially seems to hope this trip might be a chance to fix things, mend that bone long broken.
Yeah, but that hope lasts about 5 seconds once they actually meet up at Logan Airport. The tension is immediate.
Oh God, yeah. The descriptions are so sharp. Lore's apocalypse prepper Blade Runner chic.
And Owen's instant reaction, like she's trying too hard. It's pure jealousy and insecurity right there. It shows the distance isn't just time, it's all in their heads.
And then they get in the rental car. Oh boy.
The car ride, yeah, that's where it just explodes, particularly the political argument.
Right. It centers on Hamish voting for this character, Creel, who's obviously a stand-in for a certain type of divisive politician.
And Laura doesn't just disagree, she absolutely torches him. It's brutal.
She calls him a just asking questions guy, a supporter of diet fascist lackeys. It's incredibly raw.
It feels painfully real, though, doesn't it? How those old friendships can hold these deep, toxic fissures, especially around politics or core values now. Lore sees his choice not just as political, but as a moral failing.
Yeah, she argues that enabling that kind of system makes you complicit. That politics isn't separate from people's lives. It's a moral spectrum.
And then she makes it personal, really personal. She brings up his kids.
Oh, that was rough. Saying, what if your kids turn out to be trans or gay or autistic and you voted against their interests?
And Hamish flinches. That physical reaction tells you everything. She hit a nerve, invoking his family. It cuts through all his justification.
It's like Wendig is showing us how their internal conflicts mirror these larger societal ones, and how those old bonds can fray under that pressure.
Definitely. Laura's point is that Hamish uses this kind of plausible deniability, this just asking questions stance, to avoid feeling guilty, which, in her view, is almost worse than being an open extremist.
So this nightmare road trip finally ends. They get to where the campsite is supposed to be.
And there's no campsite, just woods. And another staircase, a new one. Impossible.
And that's when Nick drops the bomb.
Sure.
Chapter 24, the big reveal.
Yeah. He confesses. No funeral, no cancer scare. None of it was real. He made it all up.
Why? What do it?
He says he invoked the covenant, used their history, their failure with Maddie, to force them there, to the second staircase. He thinks going up this one is how they fix what went wrong the first time, how they fix themselves.
He felt abandoned, right? He says something like, we lost more than just Maddie that day.
Exactly. He felt like they all moved on with their fancy lives, and he was left holding the bag, dealing with the aftermath of Maddie's disappearance alone.
Which raises that question. Was his deception justified? I mean, it comes from this place of hurt and, weirdly, loyalty. He wants the group back, even if he has to manipulate them into it.
It's a really uncomfortable question. Owen tries to talk him down, but Nick's gone. He just climbs the stairs and vanishes.
And Hamish, who's already kind of fragile, he follows almost immediately, just gone.
Leaving Owen and Laura. What else can they do? They have to follow them into whatever that place is.
And the second they step onto that staircase, reality just breaks.
Completely. The stairs vanish behind them. They're in this weird, wrong hallway. And the smell, Wendig, really makes you feel the atmosphere.
Oh, God, yeah. Rot, urine, dead squirrel, and bubblegum. Sickly sweet. It's instantly nauseating and wrong.
But this is where Laura kind of shines in a weird way. Her personality clicks in when things get really, truly fucked, as the book says.
Right. Crisis mode activated. Her first instinct. We do not split up. She takes charge.
But the house, or whatever it is, doesn't waste any time. It starts messing with them immediately. Personalized horror. Starting with Marshy's room.
Ugh, Marshy's room. It's like a perfectly preserved nightmare of 90s teenage girlhood.
Yeah.
Spice Girls, TLC, Windows 95, but all ruined and decayed.
It captures that specific feeling of like early digital angst and forgotten selves, and then Laura finds the diary.
Okay, this part was really chilling. She finds Marshy's diary, and there's an entry about a book.
The Crazy Bitch's Guide to Game Design, which is Laura's actual book.
Yeah, but the entry is filled with all the horrible, sexist, threatening comments Laura actually received online in real life.
That's the moment you realize this place isn't just generally spooky. It knows them. It's pulling specifics from their lives, their digital footprint even, to hurt them. It's research-based haunting.
And while Laura's processing that, the computer in the room shows this image.
The JPG of the old-timer pocket knife, with the wet and red edge.
And Owen recognizes it. It's identical to his childhood knife.
Yeah.
Then Laura reads the last line from Marshy's diary. She killed herself.
And that just hits Owen right where he lives. He connects instantly with Marshy's feeling of being not good enough, not anything.
That line about wanting to use the knife to open you up, let it all out, it links directly back to his BFRB, his own history of self-harm impulses rooted in anxiety and self-loathing.
Yeah, and we need to talk about that knife specifically for a second. The book gives us that backstory.
Oh, right. His dad gave it to him, his non-religious dad, quoting Revelation.
Exactly. And the angel sent his blade into the earth, and the vine of the earth was cut. Super disturbing context for a kid's gift, especially from a father who seemed indifferent, who made Owen feel worthless.
So the knife isn't just a knife. It's like a symbol of his father's emotional abuse, tangled up with these terrifying religious undertones. It's a physical anchor for his trauma.
Precisely. And seeing it used in Marshy's story forces him to confront that deep-seated pain.
This whole sequence makes Laura realize something important about the house, doesn't it?
Yeah, she gets it. This isn't just random spookiness. It's curating tragedies, real-life ones. They move through other rooms. The rotten cake room.
Yeah. Severed thumb on a birthday cake. Horrible.
And then Billy Dink's sick boy kitchen, which is maybe even worse because it's grounded in that true crime reality.
Right. Laura recognizes it from a documentary, The Story of Munchausen by Proxy. The mother making the son sick.
Brenda Dink dosing her son Billy with cleaning supplies until he snapped.
And the detail about the grout. Stained rust red where she bled after he stabbed her. It's so specific, so grim. The house collects these moments of ultimate domestic horror, of family betrayal.
It's moving beyond jump scares into real, recognizable human suffering, and it uses that specificity against them.
And it doesn't just show them other people's tragedies, it starts using their own.
Absolutely. Later on, Owen sees his own father's deathbed recreated, and then glimpses of Nick's childhood abuse. The house has full access to their personal trauma Rolodex. It's malicious and incredibly intimate.
But amidst all this horror, they find something else in that kitchen. Clues left by Maddie.
Right. Carved into the cabinets, messages like the heart is where the home is, but also warnings. It wants to live inside you, and crucially, don't let it win.
Maddie figured it out first. He understood the entity.
Yeah, Lore quotes him later. This place is a parasite. It hates us. That becomes their new mission statement almost. It's not just about escaping. It's about fighting this thing that wants to consume them.
She uses that image, right? The parasite that replaces the fish's tongue. Wants to hollow them out and live inside.
Exactly. And the key insight is that the house wins by making them drown in their own past pain. To survive, they have to somehow change their relationship to that pain.
Okay, so they have this realization, but the house is relentless. It really starts bearing down on Hamish.
Yeah, the sensory assault gets ramped up.
Yeah.
That constant high-pitched chirping from a smoke detector that isn't there.
Oh, God, that sound would drive anyone crazy. And the rats chewing in the walls, phantom arguments.
It's weaponized annoyance, basically, designed to fray nerves. And it works on Hamish. It pushes him right over the edge, playing on his existing instability.
Snaps, hits Lore, breaks her nose.
Yeah. And then tries to kill himself with a piece of broken mirror. He's just desperate to make the noise. The internal external horror stop.
And Lore's reaction to getting hit by her friend, that's a turning point for her too, isn't it?
Huge. She calls it her reckoning. She sees how her own defense mechanism, being this emotionless love assassin, this person who assumes everyone else is fine, how that failed them.
Right. She relied on this idea that everyone else has their shit together, but it was false. She apologizes, admits she was judgmental, distant, admits she needs them.
It's a huge crack in her armor. Accepting vulnerability, accepting interdependence, which is exactly what the house doesn't want.
And this whole breakdown leads to that really interesting question the book poses. Is the trauma theirs, or is the house creating it?
Lore leans towards the idea that the house is just an amplifier. It turns up the volume on the bad thoughts, the insecurities, the traumas they already carried in with them.
Like Hamish revealing he actually died once before from an overdose. That fragility was already there.
Exactly. The house curates and exploits pre-existing conditions. It didn't invent their pain, it just weaponizes it masterfully.
So understanding that becomes key to fighting back.
Yeah.
Which leads to Lore figuring out the crawl space.
Yes, such a clever moment. She identifies it as a safe zone using video game logic. She calls it the clipping region, like outside the defined boundaries of the level.
The house can't reach us here. The oppressive atmosphere, the mental attacks, they stop in that space.
And this is where Owen's past, his geeky history with Lore playing old text adventure games like Zork, suddenly becomes usable.
Right. He starts seeing the house not just as a monster, but as a system, a buggy one, a blueprint, a game with rules you could potentially exploit.
He realizes the glitches, the anomalies, like when the house cycles them back through a room they've already been in. Those aren't just random, they might be the way through.
It's about confronting the system, not just running from the ghosts, which leads to his big moment back in Marshy's room.
Oh yeah, chapter 58, huge turning point for Owen. He confronts the ghost of Marshy, and he lets her stab him.
That takes guts or desperation.
Both, probably. But he realizes something crucial. The entity relies on them believing the threats, believing the pain is entirely real and physical. When the knife goes in, it feels cold, numb, but the wound doesn't last.
She's not real, they're not real. He gets it. The house's power is illusion, amplified by their own memories and fears.
He literally screams at the walls, "I know your tricks and I'm not falling for it anymore." It's him actively choosing to fight his own self-loathing, his own victimhood, by denying the house's narrative.
That line, Owen didn't merely not want to die. Owen wanted to live. That's the shift. Huge.
But to truly beat this thing, they need to understand where it came from. And the book gives us this incredibly dark origin story, the Dreamboat House.
Post-World War II suburbia gone wrong. Built as these perfect little havens by Dan Harrow and Eddie Nabirius.
The American dream, literally built into the foundations. Safety, privacy, escape from the horrors of the war.
But the first owner of this particular dreamboat model, Alfie Shawketch, an Army veteran.
Yeah, 82nd Airborne. And he brought the war home with him, specifically the trauma from witnessing the horrors at Wubelin concentration camp. Starvation, death, even cannibalism, unspeakable things.
And that trauma, it poisoned the house.
That's the theory Wendig presents. Shawketch filled that brand new house with his pain, his rage, his PTSD. It culminated in him murdering his wife there. The house became a vessel for all that blood, screams, and hate.
So when the physical house eventually burned down, the hate didn't disappear.
No, It was reborn in this void space. It grew. It became this parasitic entity, hungry, needing more trauma to feed on, and it started putting out lures, these staircases, to trap new victims.
Victims whose own trauma it can then mine, amplify, and eventually use to try and possess someone to get set free back into the real world. It twists that whole idea of home.
Completely. Home stops being where the heart is. Home is where the hurt is. The house is inherited trauma made manifest, given architecture.
Which brings us back to the present, inside the house.
Yeah.
And Nick is not Nick anymore.
Right. He's been taken over, possessed by the entity, maybe merged somehow with Shawketch's consciousness. His eyes are wrong. His movements are wrong. He's the entity's puppet.
So saving Nick is saving themselves. But how?
It comes back to the Covenant, but not the old broken version. It has to be rebuilt on truth. Painful truth. Owen takes the lead, building on his own breakthrough.
He confesses his biggest secret, doesn't he? His self-harm.
Yeah. I used to cut myself. I hated myself too. He connects with Nick's pain, validating the feelings that led Nick to bring them there, while rejecting the entity controlling him. He tells Nick they're better together.
That vulnerability, that honesty, seems to be the weapon the house can't handle.
Exactly. That, combined with pleas from Lauren Hamish, forces the entity, speaking through Nick as Shawketch, to confront them directly. And then comes the exorcism, which is just brilliant.
It's not holy water in Latin. It's memories.
Yeah.
Really specific, really weird memories.
They weaponize their shared history, their actual bond. The ridiculous stuff only they would know about Nick, about their friendship, his trickster spirit moments.
Okay, list them. They're amazing. The mannequin.
Oh, yeah. Nick taking a department store mannequin dressed as a mermaid with glued-on shells and six-pack rings to the prom as his date.
Incredible. And the golf cart.
Wearing a fake beard, stealing a golf cart, driving around knocking off mailboxes in 3 different neighborhoods. Pure Nick.
And Gary Dunderbaum. You got to mention Gary Dunderbaum.
The legend. Nick convinced Gary that if he dramatically shit his pants during a quiz, the teacher would let him off the hook, and Gary did it. Twice.
Oh my God. It's so stupid, but it's their stupid.
Exactly. These memories are so specific, so unique to their bond, so filled with this bizarre loyalty and shared absurdity. The entity can't compute it. It deals in universal pain, curated trauma. It can't handle genuine, weird friendship.
With each memory, not Nick flinches. It hurts the entity.
It works. The entity, revealing Shawketch's form briefly, screams in agony, and Nick finally vomits the parasite out. A disgusting physical expulsion.
The house is hurt. Nick is free.
Yeah.
And the covenant, that fractured thing, it's actually been reforged through honesty and remembering the really weird times. So they did it. Nick is saved. But it's not all relief, is it? They're still Maddie.
No, the Maddie resolution is heartbreaking. They see this automaton version of him, kind of crucified, and its skull splits open.
And that little model house emerges. The parasite structure.
Confirming Maddie was lost years ago. He was the first host. Totally consumed. There was no saving him. Just understanding what happened.
So, Lore, Owen, and Hamish get out. They survive. But are they really okay? Have they changed enough?
I think they're fundamentally altered. Owen had to actively choose life over self-loathing. He stepped out of Lore's shadow, maybe.
And Lore had to break down that emotionless love assassin wall. She had to admit she needed people, that her isolation was actually a weakness the house exploited.
Hamish is maybe the most ambiguous. He's deeply damaged. But he did confront his own issues, his bigotry, his self-destruction, even if violently. Maybe there's potential there.
The biggest change feels like that shared vulnerability, right? The confession. Owen admitting his cutting, Nick's implied confession of his childhood trauma needed to break the possession. They had to tear down their internal walls to survive the external ones.
Yeah, they had to burn down the houses of pain they were living in mentally and maybe start rebuilding something together on more honest ground.
Which connects so well to what Chuck Wendig says in his author's note at the end about being lost.
Oh, definitely. He talks about finding a literal staircase in the woods near Concord, New Hampshire, which sparked the idea.
But he makes it philosophical. He says, never to get lost is not to live.
Not to know how to get lost brings you to destruction, and somewhere in the terra incognita in between lies a life of discovery.
That's basically their whole journey, isn't it? They were forced into that internal terra incognita, the maze inside their own skulls, as he puts it.
The house weaponized their fear of being lost to time, trauma, each other. But salvation came from admitting they were lost and finding connection within that lostness.
And that final point Wendig makes about inheritance.
Right. Some people inherit values like a house, but others, like these characters, have to burn down that house, find our own ground, build from scratch. That's what they did. Their victory was destructive, but necessary for regrowth.
The house was this embodiment of inherited trauma, societal darkness, the dark side of the American dream. But their specific, messy, loyal friendship was the one thing it couldn't predict or overcome.
Yeah, their weirdness was their strength, ultimately.
Wow, what a book.
Yeah.
A really powerful exploration of some heavy themes wrapped in some seriously creepy horror.
Absolutely. If there's one thing to maybe take away, think about your own friendships. What are those weird, specific, maybe embarrassing memories that define your bond? That shared history might be stronger than you think.
That's a great point. Well, that was our look at The Staircase in the Woods. We really hope digging into the trauma, the friendship dynamics, and that terrifying house gave you some new perspectives.
Thanks so much for joining us for this discussion.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Let us know what you thought. Who was your favorite character, or maybe the one you hated the most? Any theories we missed? Drop them in the comments below.
And yeah, if you enjoyed this kind of book talk, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really helps us out.
Definitely. Join us next week for episode 31. We're jumping back in time a bit.
Yeah.
Tackling a classic.
Oh, which one?
Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter. Should be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be a different kind of discussion. Looking forward to it.
Us too.
Yeah.
So, until then, happy reading, everyone.
Take care.